Everybody, this is Eric, and I am going to go over the Gaitology form and process here briefly in this video, so we're all being consistent in how we conduct gait analysis and pulling out similar shoes, whether you're at Kansas City store, Springfield store, or Columbia store. So here we are looking at the Gaitology form. This is fairly easy to fill out. Of course, you're going to put in your name, your store, customer information. We do want to make sure we get the customer email. Tell them that you can email them the video, and that is a great way to capture that email. You never have to ask it again. Of course, make sure you put that in the field when you check them out at the end. We're going to be measuring their feet, of course. The runner history, I think, is probably the easiest part of the process, and I don't think very many of us have any issues with that at all. So we can kind of skip over that for now. Definitely look at the shoe that they came in with or that they've been running. Look for wear patterns on the outsole. Pull out the insole. Feel inside the shoebox. Feel for that deformed foam underneath their toes. Definitely point that out. That's really helpful for troubleshooting pain and figuring out if that's the right shoe for them. Definitely look at the calluses on the bottom of their foot. They have a big callus under the big toe or they're the second toe. The second toe, might be related to some problems if they're not using that big toe. Absolutely ask what kind of socks they wear. And this is a great opportunity for you to mention technical socks, the value of them, the benefit of them, and then when it's time to pull shoes, always offer for them to try on our sock. They can always use their own if they want, but always offer. I don't often ask this question, but you certainly can. It's helpful for troubleshooting injuries as well, particularly if they have, for example, tight calves. Maybe a female professional has to wear high heels, and you can kind of relate that. You know what shoes you want to stay away from if that's the case. Under the injury section, the key here is to make sure you're asking a lot of questions. A lot of times they forget about old injuries, and you can, just in the process of asking questions, they will remember certain things, and that usually is pertinent to some pain that they have now. So it's ample room to write lots of notes. The actual fitting process, of course, we're going to be doing the single leg balance, the calf flexibility, the big toe flexibility. You'll notice over here on the right that I've got a recommendation if they have a problem with that area. So if the person has challenged their single leg balance, then it may be that a lower offset shoe or a low drop shoe is going to be a better option. It's a little more stable. With calf flexibility, poor calf flexibility, a higher offset shoe will take some stress off there. Big toe flexibility, a low offset shoe or a shoe that doesn't bend a lot in the forefoot like a Hoka. The knee alignment, just checking to see obviously they're bow-legged, knock-kneed, or neutral. And the same thing with their rear foot. And we have pictures here for your rear foot, in case you can't remember what varus and valgus means. Here's your cheat sheet right here, and you can note that. And the main thing is, if they're bow-legged at the knee or varus or at the rear foot, then we're always going to be trying on neutral shoes. You actually see most of the time a neutral or varus knee and rear foot. Very few valgus or knock-kneed. And so very rarely do you need a stability shoe for that particular problem or piece of the puzzle. Of course, we're looking at arch type and then how flexible the foot is. Really, up until here, this is what determines what type of shoe you pull out. This whole videotaping part does not play a part in virtually everybody. And so, if we look at the averages, there is by far, for everybody that comes in, it's more likely you're going to need to pull a neutral shoe for them. And a neutral shoe with some cushioning. And so, everybody's sales numbers should reflect a great preponderance towards neutral cushioning shoes. If you sell a lot of stability shoes, you're doing something wrong. If you sell a lot of low drop shoes, you're doing something wrong. The default shoe for most people that come in will be a neutral cushioning shoe. Now, of course, if the person has knee pain, medial knee pain, and low arch, and their knock-kneed, and of course you're going to pull out stability shoes from them. We're just talking general averages. Most people will be trying on neutral shoes when they come in for our fit process. The value of a low drop shoe is mostly as a secondary shoe. There aren't very many injuries where we can say for sure that a low drop shoe is going to help that. So it's rare that we go right into a lightweight shoe. People that come to mind, maybe a high school runner, somebody who's been running in that type of shoe already, etc. For the video analysis part, make sure we're introducing them to the treadmill, make sure they feel safe with it. You're videotaping them, Columbia and Springfield at least, with the iPad from the front, the side, and the back, and going over that with them. Offer to email that video to them every time, and that's a great wow service. The video analysis part is going to help you troubleshoot injuries. For example, if they're both their feet are externally rotated, very externally rotated, and they've got medial knee pain, then you can kind of make a connection there. The crossover, if they've got some IT band pain, then that you can correct that. And then, of course, foot strike. We don't really care how they land. We just don't want them to land really far out in front of their body and really, really heavy. And so we can give some corrections there. But once again, the video part does not in any way, I should say, it is a very small way would help pick a shoe. We don't look at pronation at all. If you look at pronation, it's just to verify that you've got other pain going on, and it's one more thing that suggests you try a stability shoe. So pronation doesn't matter in almost everybody that you look at, and we need to be pulling out mostly neutral shoes. Definitely write down asymmetries. That's helpful. You see some asymmetries, you're not going to be able to correct it, but we can actually give them a doctor's referral, and that's another service that they won't get at other places. Once you start pulling shoes, pull the first shoe, get the size right, then pull the rest of them. Ideally, you're pulling 4 to 6 shoes. There are people that are going to try more, of course, but for most people that's going to be sufficient. I like to write down the top few favorites, and of course the shoe or shoes that they've purchased. And then you will file this in your file folder. So once again, that is the process. If you have any questions, always feel free to give your manager a call, or you can give me a buzz anytime. And if you have any questions, just follow up. Thank you.